Good morning, Miraculous, and Ashok is delivering speech from the Pathways Level 1, which is evaluating and feedback for the first speech. So the purpose statement of the project is for member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the next speech. So he's delivering the first speech only. To present a speech and receive a feedback, the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Ashok. Over to you, TMOD.
Toastmaster Ashok Kumar, pit stop, not a full stop. Pit stop, not a full stop. Toastmaster Ashok Kumar.
Thank you so much, MG. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Should I move it?
Tilt a little.
Tilt a little. Perfect.
90.
Yeah. Is this perfect? Yeah. Perfect. Morning, Miraculous.
Good morning.
So, last October, I was there in the IIM Trichy campus. So, a group of us, a group of my classmates, we went into the when we entered the campus, there is a security checking. We got all our bags checked and an entry made in the register. And when I was about to make an entry in the register, I pulled the students register and I was trying to make an entry. The security guard stopped me, saying, "Sir, that is students register and here is the parents register." So I said, "Listen, I am a student here. I have come here for a one week residence in this campus." And that incident, right? And all of us were literally laughing. All of my classmates were laughing about it during our later tea sessions and the breaks. And after the campus visit was over, I got back to my base and I told this to my daughter, who's an 8th grader, and her remark triggered a train of thoughts to me. What she said is, "Appa, if you had studied properly at the right age, you don't have to visit a campus at this ripe age." And this was going on in the back of my mind for very long, right? And I was thinking about this. I was ruminating about all the past incidents, and one thing that struck me very hard is this story about my grandparent, right? My grandparent, my father, and myself. My grandfather he had schooling until 10th class, and after his 10th class, he joined a job in one of the private banks, and he retired from that bank after 40 years. So he went to college. He went to school once. He had schooling for 15 years, and then he worked for 40 years. And he retired happily. Then came my father's generation. And my father went to agricultural college. So he became an agriculture graduate. He got into a job, which is with the Tamil Nadu Agricultural Department. He didn't like the job because his passion is not that. And then he later moved on to a bank, and then he every 5 years he used to visit a college and do some degree, right? With related to the bank, because he found that his interest was towards banking and finance. So he did MA Economics and then CAIB and then MBA in Banking and Finance, which he did 10 years before his death. And he visited college every 5 years. And then came our generation, where the technology is changing so fast that you have to visit college every 2 years, otherwise you are going to get irrelevant, right? So that is what I have taken to just share few of my thoughts. So learning is not a full stop anymore. It is a pit stop where you stop there for a few seconds or a few moments and then refresh yourself, renew yourself, and then continue the journey. And then, friends, that pit stop is going to get more and more frequent in the upcoming days. 5 years of my father's age now has become 2 years, and who knows, it would be everyday learning going forward, because with ChatGPT and all this stuff, things is going to change much faster. And when I was thinking about this, in the month of November came this news article from IIM Ahmedabad, where they say that this 2-year format of the MBA program would be phased out in the next 10 years. Next 10 years you will not find this, and the reason is IMA thinks that when someone enters into this 2-year program, by the time they get out of the program, the curriculum is already outdated.
Oh.
So they think that in another 10 years time, you will complete graduation, you will take 3 to 4 years of experience, and then you go there for one more session, right? Maybe a month long thing, and then you come back, apply them at your job, and then you continue that education through the executive education path. So it will be a lifelong learning attached to an institute, right? And what we used to think is, okay, maybe this will happen 10 years down the lane, right? But the reality is, no, it is happening now. It is happening now. That's when I got to know this guy who was giving the premier institutes a run for their money. He has already created a program. Which is actually implementing this, which is the STOA, which is the Alt MBA. What this guy does is, there is a learning plan like this, where there will be small sprints of learning, and it happens even during the weekdays, and in the weekend you will do a project. The format is like this: all 4 days of the week you do a learning, self-learning, and in the weekend you apply that learning and gain benefit out of it. So it is a very frequent daily pit stop, and this got me thinking, right? Because in summary, an ideal learning, and he also creates a cohort or a forum. Ideal learning is community based. It needs frequent pit stops, and it applies the learning and promotes the learning from each other, meaning we learn from each other. And here is my closing challenge to all of you. Can you think of any other learning forum that is mutually supportive, community based, which has frequent pit stops, weekly or fortnightly, applied learning, and promotes learning from each other?
Sounds familiar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashok.
Thank you.
Campus to corporates is a usual thing, isn't it? And now